So I'm making a custom mount for my Ultragauge, and what I did was I got a piece of metal that is used to, it was about this gauge. It was a hole saw. Well, actually no, it's a lot thinner than that. You can see how it is. And I believe it was a bracket that you used to hook an electrical socket to a stud. But I cut off two little things that went this way. There's one here and one here. I cut them off with tin snips. Same thing with the bottom. I painted it gray with primer, gray primer, and then the bottom piece I painted with a gray. You can kind of see it poking out there. Gray flat paint, and then a black gloss Krylon for the top. Colors my dashboard's gray underneath the tape. You can see the gray, and then the mount for the Ultragauge is black. So once this is dry, I'll show you what we're gonna do next. But you can see this is the side. It's kind of a little uneven. I believe it was this side that I had to cut off the things, and same with up here. There was a weird thing I had to cut off, so I just took tin snips, cut it all off. You can see it's thin, but and then also obviously it was all straight, straight piece. So obviously I had to bend it to the correct angle. Hopefully that'll peel off. I don't want to mess with it right now because it's wet, but so this thing's dried up now. I kept the bottom just sanded and stainless so the adhesive won't mess with it. The top is gray to match my dash. The back is black to match my my Ultragauge. As you can see, it had a really clean line there where it meets, so it looks custom. I could honestly, I wish I could fabricate and sell these, but they're such a pain in the ass to fabricate and make, and it's so custom that I'd literally have to charge so much more money than it's worth. Because, you know, I had to heat it with a blowtorch and then put it in the vise and take a wrench and bend it to the right angle and sanded it down, spray painted it, taped it off and then spray painted it. So now we're going to go ahead and attach the mount to the bracket. So I took some of this 5-pound Scotch adhesive tape. What I've noted is I always buy the 5-pound tape, and it in actuality holds like a pound and sometimes less than that, even in the right conditions and right prep. Always wipe down the surface with alcohol and then go ahead and stick it. So what I did was I just put a piece on the bottom and cut it to fit. So as you can see, it fits perfectly. You don't see any of it popping out. So it will adhere to my dash. And as you can see, it's a very small area of adhesion, I guess would be the word. Very small area of adhesion. So compared to like my Garmin mount, it takes up a lot less room. This thing may not look as beautiful, but when it's mounted, you won't even be able to see this bracket actually. So it doesn't really matter. It's nowhere near as invasive as my Garmin mount. I just used a razor, cut around it. So now I'm gonna either put some adhesion or some tape right here, and a little square right here, to mount the bracket, or the mount, I guess, to the bracket, or I'm debating between that and using the good old-fashioned Gorilla Glue and clamping it down. Depends if I plan on reusing the Ultragauge. I don't think I do. I have a second one. I'm trying to get rid of it, so if anyone needs an Ultragauge, I'll give it to you for what I paid for it. I just want to get out of it. It's I paid $63 for it, so it cost me like $65 and I'll sell it. But so let's go test fit this now, and then we'll see if we should mount it with the tape or with something else. I'm gonna take the tape with me. Alright, so there's the mount just test fitted. I just sat it here. As you can see, it fits the contour of the dash perfectly, and you know, it's very, you know, such a small area to adhere compared to this giant circle that I had to adhere to my dash, which I wasn't a huge fan of it. But this thing finally stays there. I mean, it doesn't come off. So wouldn't mind mounting this to my A-pillar, but figured this would be easier. So here's the bracket for the Ultragauge. So it's gonna be something like that. So what we see here is we can mount it coming over the top just a very little bit, and that'll be perfect. So we're gonna mount the bracket to the gauge now. Alright, so the goal was to have the back of it look pretty, and it does, and the front of it hold the gauge, so it will. I got the adhesive for the bottom and the adhesive for the top. As you can see, there's a very small gap. That's just the height I want. I almost don't want even the mount to be shown, so this will go on there like that, and there's my mount. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this adhesive off and just stick it straight to this the bracket. So there you have it. The bracket is entirely made. Doesn't match the dash as great as I'd like, but that's alright. So I'm gonna go ahead and adhere it here in a minute, but I'm actually just gonna color the inside of this in with a black marker, because I mounted it this way so I could take it off this clip and just transport this to another car if I really wanted to, even though I still have another Ultragauge. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it. But I'd like to access the buttons, otherwise I would have just glued it or adhered it right to the back of this, because this is a better surface, you know, but that's okay. So this is my custom Ultragauge mount. So I'm just going to color that in and make it look pretty, and that'll be that. So I used that paint marker to color the adhesive. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it up in this small area, so I guess that'll just have to be gray. But I even colored the front of this adhesive so you won't see it from the front. I don't think you would anyways, but so now I'm going to go ahead and get this thing mounted the way I want, and then we'll run all the wires. Oh, there it is, guys. Now I just got to run the wire, which won't be too hard to do at all, since it's just straight connection into my ODB plug, which I will show you in a second. And there goes my tape. Got it. Alright. And my ODB plug is right here, so I'm going to do my best to conceal this wire and whatnot. Alright, so everything's ran for the Ultragauge. The only exposed wire I got is from here to there, which I hate exposed wire. I guess I could live with it. I probably should have put it closer to here, but I'd be interfering with the it'd be tilted because of the mount. Actually, I probably maybe someday will end up moving it. I have to fabricate a new bracket, I guess. Hopefully this doesn't mess up with my tweeters too much, like the sound. But yeah, it just goes. I hate putting stuff in the wires in here too, but it's a very short distance. It's from here to here, and then it goes behind the dash, underneath the dash, and plugs into my ODB sensor right there. It's kind of weird because the wire's going the opposite way. If it went that way, it would be much more convenient than it going that way. I got to secure a lot more of these wires under here. As you can see, I got a rat's nest. But like from normal driving position, I mean, I made sure you can never see any wires. Hate wires. For my Garmin mount, as you can see, this is the only wire I got showing, so it's not that bad. But this is actually, let me boot up the Ultragauge. This will be the first boot. I'll go ahead and peel the cellophane off it and give it a go. Back here, these are the gauges I set up. They're pretty accurate. The throttle position is the only thing that seems weird. Like right now I'm stopped, I'm at 22%, even though I'm not even touching it. So I don't know how that works. All the way down, it'll go to 99. This is my instant miles per gallon. I'm not getting much because I'm hauling ass. But now as I'm completely off the pedal, I'm getting decent miles per gallon instant, instant MPG. I have the RPMs up there, the intake, that's in Celsius. I have to change that to Fahrenheit. I don't know how I hit Celsius. And then I also have the gallons till empty up there. So as you can see, this is kind of what I see right now. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, my headlights back on then. everything seems to be working pretty well so far. So far so good. When I stop, I'll go ahead and show you the mount. Alright, so as you can see, the average mounting bracket for like a Garmin or a GPS or even the Ultragauge is big and bulky, and you know, it's a large, I have an extra one down here. I mean, this is how big the adhesion pad is. I mean, it really messes up your dash. So what I was going for with this one was the sleekness, and I think I accomplished that. I mean, it's real sleek. You know, you can barely even notice it's there. Just kind of holding it up. So I really like it. That's exactly what I was going for. Let's see from up top. Take this off. Yeah, can't get it off. You can still access the buttons pretty well. This thing is, you know, bendable, but it's still there. I can flex it any way I really want to. So I mean, that's exactly what I was going for. Exactly the look I was going for. I like it. I almost kind of wish I could have done it to the A-pillar or something, but what am I gonna do? So think about running the wire that way. I don't know. I don't know what's better, you know. I think I like that a little bit better. But so yeah, that's how I'm gonna have it set up, either that way or the way I had it before, you know. But so we got to work with right now. I think it looks great where it's at. You know, from the cockpit view, I can see this, and actually it's more convenient to look at like the RPMs and stuff right here than down there. It's almost like having a heads-up display, because you could just kind of drive and you can kind of just glance down like that. You know, so that's kind of convenient. So it's the Ultragauge and the Ultragauge install. I think it came out real clean. So custom fabricated bracket and how to. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe. Check me out on the Silverado Sierra forums. Also GM Truck Club. You know, so let me know. Alright, thanks for watching.